everyone, Hendrik here from Orchestral Tools, and I'm super excited to guide you through Svara. Svara is our new collection that covers Indian film orchestra. It's a complete ensemble, not just out of the typical Indian solo instruments that you might know, from the tabla to the Bansuri flutes. It also covers all the strings, the typical Bollywood strings, and more instruments that you mostly know from Western orchestras as well, but they became an important role also in Bollywood film music, and so we cover these kind of sections as well. And I must say, my musical heritage, of course, is not Indian music, but I always wanted to do this kind of collection because after doing Phoenix, where we also had these kind of ensemble strings from these Chinese orchestra, we wanted to do the same with the Indian film orchestra, and that's why we decided very early on to do this project, but it was very hard for us to get really into connection with local people, and I'm very, very happy that we had Alban Dominic on board, who's from Chennai. He's a composer and he helped us so much in finding the right people and to get these recording sessions done in Chennai in India. We worked together with Alex Lamy again, who now lives in Kuala Lumpur and is also pretty much related to all kinds of world music, and he together with Alban Dominic produced this new collection for Orchestral Tools. So I will give you a brief overview into what you can expect from Svara. So let's dive into a design player. As you see, we have high strings ornaments as well as high strings regular. The idea that you will also recognize in different other areas of Svara is that we combined different kind of real performed ornaments with legato transitions. And this is really powerful because you can combine the ornaments with your own melody basically. It's a very flexible version, and it helps you to avoid just using phrases or something. I can give you a little demo of that. Yeah, so the really cool part about this is that you can combine the true recorded ornament performances with different kind of interval legatos that we have recorded, especially the legato slides that you hear on the slow playing. But we also have the regular fingered legato, which will come automatically when you play faster. So as you can see, the ornaments which are truly recorded and captured as a performance are connected with legato transitions. So that means, like, when you play the ornaments afterwards, you can continue with your own melody. And that makes this library breathtaking, realistic, and also at the same time very flexible in its use. By the way, the high strings are merged together out of the violins and the violas. Normally also when you have recording sessions in India, the entire section, all the musicians are playing the violin, and then they will change over to the violas and playing the same thing, the same melody in one octave lower and perform on top of the violins basically. We combined these kind of two violins and violas into one octave patch for sketching. But when we now take a look into the violins, ornaments and also regular, you will see we have way more available articulations. So let's have a look into the violins, which is the major part of the string section within Svara. And here you see we have multiple of different kind of ornaments. So let's have a listen through all of them. And now you can really combine the different ornaments with the legato transitions into your own melodies. Let's have a listen. Yeah, the violins are divided into two different instruments in sign. While this one covers all the ornaments together with legato, we have the violins regular, which covers all the basic articulations. So let's load them in. And it all starts with sustains and legatos, which gives you a regular sustain without any ornament on top. And it sounds like this. And as you can hear, the faster I play, the more defined the transitions become. And the reason for that is that we have recorded different legato transitions with different speeds going from one note to another one. And when you play slow, in this case, you hear the legato slides fast. While when you play faster, you get the legato fingered, which gives you an instant change from one note to another one. And now when we open the selector, you will find a lot more different kind of legato transitions that we have recorded. This portamento kind of style is a very typical way of playing in Indian film music, and that's why we covered a lot of different speeds of those. And I will start with the regular fingered one that you also hear on faster playing, and then we go through all of them. Let's start with the legato fingered. Now when we change over to the legato portamento slow, you will hear a very long slide from one note to another, so from the starting note to the target note. And of this portamento we also have another option which is rather fast. Then we have the legato slides slow. And the legato slide fast. Beside the legatos, which is obviously the major part of this instrument, we will also see a lot of different other articulations, including various kind of sustains with different styles. There is this expressive sustain, which has a dynamic change within the note, which sounds like this. Which is super cool and comes with its own expression. We have different kind of vibrato options. Then there is the sustains eccentric, which is also a very typical kind of Indian playing style. Different short notes, including portato, staccato, spiccato. We have crescendos, diminuendos, trills, progressive, short. Which gives you this speed up of trills at the beginning. This trills phrased. And different kind of swells. Yeah, and beside the violins, we also have the violas, which you typically would arrange one octave below the violin. So if you have your melody settled, you would do the same thing with the violas, one octave lower in most cases. And for this, we also came up with different kind of ornaments that you can connect with legato, and the violas regular articulations covering different kind of sustains and different kind of short notes, as well as dynamics and different kind of trills and swells. We have the low strings coming from Phoenix Orchestra in a very basic set, because this is really not the focus of Svara. And there's the santour, and this is also an instrument that you might heard before. And the very typical glissandos. Now let's take a look into the next section of Svara, which are the drone instruments. And the most famous one are, yeah, obviously the tanpura. So let's have a listen to this one. Yeah, and there's also one set of samples where we really recorded this kind of typical drone patterns that they mostly play. As you can hear, we have a faster and a slower one recorded of these. You can also choose from a perfect fourth and the fifth for all of these performances. That's the fifth version. Very nice. Yeah, and then we also captured an harmonium which you get in two different kind of registers. There's also a shruti box, which are also typical kind of drones, which you just keep on the foundation while you're playing the other instruments on top of it. And now diving into the next section gives us the true highlight of this collection, which are the Bansuri flutes. We are super happy that we got Naveen Kumar as a true superstar in playing the Bansuri to get him on board with this project. And we have three different Bansuri flutes in there. The one is in D, then we have the Bansuri flute in A, and then another one which is also in A but a lower version. It's basically the same approach like we've seen in the high strings and the violins, where we combine the ornaments with the legato transitions. So let's have a listen. Like with the strings, we also have the Bansuri in two different kind of instruments. The one that we just heard, the ornaments, as well as the regular one, which gives us all the typical kind of basic articulations with just the sustains and legatos, for example, different kind of sustains, different kind of short notes. And this is how it sounds. And we also have this kind of accented sustains with progressive vibrato, where the vibrato is really getting developed over time. And then we have different kind of short notes, and these ones are really interesting on the Bansuri flute, because you have this overblown effect. There's also an overblown FX articulation. We have this double tongue on top of it. Yeah, and then this flutter tongue pattern. Which also has this interesting phrase ending on the release. Measure trills, as well as trills incremental, what we have heard before. And then this accented attack into measure trills, which sounds like this. Then let's also have a look at the Bansuri in A, which is the slightly higher Bansuri flute. And then there's the low Bansuri. And for this, I just load the ones without the ornaments to just hear the pure legato patch. And for this also we have the staccatos with this overblown kind of sound. Now let's dive into the percussion section of Svara. And as you see, we have a lot of different percussion instruments covered within this collection. Yeah, let's start with the most obvious one, which is the tablas. And the tablas are really coming in different kind of pitches. And when you load this instrument in Sign, you will recognize like we have the single hits, which you can play. With your keys. Also in different kind of pitches here, and we have the D version as well as the C and the G version. The C one. You can hear the difference in the pitch. And then we have the rhythmical patterns and the loops. And the difference between those two is the rhythmical patterns are really like little fragments that you can tie together to create your own rhythm with the tablas, while the loops are really ready to go performances. So probably first dive into the performances that you get an impression about Indian rhythmic and rhythmical styles. They are, by the way, also separated into different time signatures. So 3/4 is like this here, so the 3/4. But there are also more unusual ones, or for us unusual ones, like the 7/8. And the nice thing is you can even change the tempo in the DAW and it will follow that. So let's maybe change from 120 to 100. So it fits basically the performance perfectly to your DAW tempo. And when you navigate to the performance page, you're even able to activate the lock to beat feature, which is great, especially when working within a grid and within your own tempo in Logic or Cubase or Ableton. And when you activate the recording, it really quantizes your rhythmical loop perfectly to your DAW tempo, also where the loop should be started. And then we have the rhythmical patterns, and you will hear there's a little short little gestures. So this was a short overview over Svara, our new Indian film orchestra, and what you can expect from it. But there is a more in-detail walkthrough. It's in 2 parts, and it's by Alban Dominic and Emmanuel Jacobs, who really guide you through the various instruments in further detail. So it's absolutely recommendable to watch the walkthrough. And there are more audio demos on the website. And this is the really interesting part where you can hear like all instruments coming together into a full sonic impression. Yeah, thank you very much for watching. Check out our product page and see you next time. Thank you and bye-bye.